Okay, so once you've now set up your WebCenter environment using the marketplace, what I usually do is go all the way down to the bottom of the logs, and what we do is just copy and paste all of this information because it has all of the info on all the servers and what to connect to. So if we have a look at the next steps in terms of the WCC initialization, what we need to do now is just validate, make sure everything's working, and then do a few configuration updates so that we can get it ready to set up the Apex RFP app. So let's go ahead and let's just have a look in here, and in here we should have the content server endpoint, which ends with /CS. So let me just copy that. I'll open up a new tab and paste that in there. Now, because I don't have HTTP set up, we obviously get this error, and we'll just proceed straight into the content server. And this is the content server UI. So let's log in. And let's go in here. I've left the username and password the same, so WebLogic and Welcome1. WebLogic, let's copy Welcome1. And this will log me into the WebCenter content environment. Great, so the first thing I usually do at this point is I change the interface. We've got the trays menu and the top menus, and so let's just go ahead and do that. It's much easier for me to use the top menus. The instructions are for the trays, but I prefer this approach with the interface. So let's go on to the first step, and let's skip down. Right, the first step is to validate the search index. So out of the box, it's usually the database that is set up. So to configure that and to change it so that we see the Oracle text search, what we need to do is go into the general configuration. So let's just go ahead and do that, and then just triple check the server. General configuration. Oh, not that one. Configuration. Here it is, and we can see here that we're currently using the standard database. So we want to flip that across to the open text, and to do that, what we need to do is go across to the admin server and then general configuration, and within here we've got a load of configuration variables. So let's go ahead and toggle that on, and to do that, what we need to do is just change a flag. Where is it? Admin. Oh, Apex Appendix 2. So let's just go there, and that's all we need to do. So let's just copy this and then put that into our environment variables like that, and we'll hit save. Now, as part of this process, it will ask you to restart the server. I'm not going to do that straight away because there's a few other changes I want to make before I restart. I could restart, but each step it'll tell you to restart. You don't need to do that. You can just go ahead, make all of these changes, and do one final restart at the end. Okay, so we're good with that. When we do restart, we'll check to make sure it's open text search, but let's go on to the next step, which is enabling folios. So as part of this, there's a plugin called Content Folios. It's been with WebCenter for about 20 years or so now. So let's just go ahead and configure that. Let's go into here and go to the component manager, and then document management, and we'll enable content folios. As you can see, there's other additional components you can enable if you want, but I'm going to enable content folios because we need it as part of the RFP. And essentially what it's going to do, it's going to take the documents that we supply and merge them together and create a single document. So let's update. Yes, I want content folios. Great. So let's move on to the next step. So as part of that, we need to just apply some additional configuration variables for content folios, and we'll do that now. So we'll just copy those, go back into the administration, admin server, and general configuration, scroll down to the bottom, and we'll just paste that there. Hit save. Right, let's keep on going. Again, we don't need to restart, we'll do that at the end. What's the next step? Oh, so we've got to set up the content configuration bundle. So as part of this lab, in the zip file that you downloaded earlier, there is a configuration bundle. And essentially that automatically sets up all of the configurations of WebCenter content, or at least the majority of it. They're not everything. So it'll set up things like profiles, workflows, security, and other things. So let's go ahead and do that now. So administration and configuration bundles, which is at the bottom, and we'll upload a bundle. Choose the file. I've got it in my downloads. It is, so let's go into that folder, and that is the bundle there. So let's open it. We'll override it, even though we don't have a bundle. That's for best practice. And then now that I've uploaded it, what we're going to do is just edit that, and let's just check make sure we overwrite any duplicates, select an action, and we will import. Yep, so that sounds good. So we'll do that and import. So you can see here it's setting up all of the content metadata, and it's going to refresh the page every 10 seconds. Once this refreshes, you can see it's setting up some security groups, some workflows, some content profiles, and some additional tables, and then it's finished. So once it's finished, that's great. We've done that step. So let's keep on going. So let's go down. We've completed all of those tasks. And yep, that all looks good. Okay. So now we are going to add the RFP profile value in WebCenter. Okay, so that's going to allow us to set some triggers. So let's do that. Let's go down here. Right, so as part of this, we're going to have to access the admin applet. So you need to make sure you have Java installed. I'm on a Mac, so what's going to happen here in my environment is it's going to download the Java applet separately, and then it'll allow me to run it. So let's go and go into admin applets, and then which one is it? Configuration manager. So let's go across to configuration manager. You'll see it's downloaded. Now what I usually do is I usually rename the applet so I know what it's called. Configuration, there we go. And then what I can do is select right click, open with Java Launcher, and that's going to open up the admin applet. So here you can see, and then I'm just going to approve. Yep, it's going to connect to our WebCenter environment and hit run, and then it should show me the configuration manager. Great, so that's the configuration manager up and ready. And what I'm going to do, let's go back to the instructions, make sure I didn't miss anything. So, yep, so we'll go to Information Fields tab, we'll select the IDC profile, and then we'll add the triggers, right? So we've got RFP is 2, section is 3, and response is 4. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll copy that. I'm just going to minimize this down, and let's go into here. So did I miss? Edit values, and let's add RFP was 2, and we'll add RFP is 2, RFP section is 3, and then the final one, which is RFP response, let's copy that, and that is 4. Okay, that looks good. We'll hit close there, and so we have now added those triggers into that. That's great. So now let's go ahead to the workflows and let's enable the workflows again. Back to the admin applets, and we'll go to the workflow admin area. So let's select that. Again, it's re-downloaded it, so let's open up that folder. Let's rename the applet. You don't have to do this, but it makes it easier, and I can always reopen it anytime I want. Okay, right click, open with Java Launcher. Continue. Great. So let's go back to the instructions. What we'll do is go to the criteria workflow, and we'll select the finance section workflow there, and what we'll do is we will enable that. So let's go to criteria, select the workflow, and enable it. Yep. Great. Is enabled. And then validate Apex is running. So one of the cool things about WebCenter content now is it comes with its own version of Apex running with it. So on the same domain, same IP, if you go to the orgs address, it'll open up your Apex environment. So let's just go ahead and do that right now. And again, if we have a look back at the stack, we should see let's see. Oh, I thought it was there. Okay, it's not there. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's go across. Let's copy that, create a new tab, and we will go into Apex. So forwards. Great, and what we will do is we will go into the internal workspace and log in there, and we'll set up a new workspace. So let's go ahead, internal, username is admin, and the password is that. Great, let's remember, sign in, and now we're into Apex on the content server. So that's looking good. Now we need to connect to the database, and we just need to make sure the privileges are set up correctly and that we've got the schemas there. So to do that, let's go to Appendix 4 and Appendix 4. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll go back to Oracle Cloud, we'll go to the database, and click into that database, scroll down to the bottom, select our node, and then what we'll have here is our database public IP, which is what we need. So now that we've got that, we'll open up the terminal and we'll SSH directly into it there. So let's do that. That's my terminal, and let's. I think I just need to go into here where my key is, and then we can just grab this, copy. This is the key you grabbed earlier when you were setting up the database and you generated it as part of the preliminary steps, right? So I've called mine that, I believe. Let's just check in Finder. db-sh db-sh.key, perfect. There, and let's just grab the IP, let's copy that, go back to the terminal, and we'll paste that IP into there. That looks great, let's hit enter. Yep, so I have now SSH'd in. One thing you may have to do is it may complain about security permissions and things like that. Just if you're on a Mac, just change it to just chmod and I think it's 600 against the file, and then that should allow you to run it without any of these permission issues. So now that we're in the environment, let's go back. Let's swap the user, and we'll swap across to Oracle. And there we go. So now we're in as Oracle, and we will start up SQL Plus. Let's go ahead and do that. And then let's run this. Okay. Now let's go back to the steps, and let's just rerun those commands it's asked for. So skip through all of this. Here we go. So what we want to do is select the statement, paste that into there, hit enter. Great, Apex. And then what we want to do Apex 230200. So that looks exactly the same. So let me just copy this and we'll paste that and then hit enter. Great, so that's done. Now what we can do is restart our WebCenter content instance, and to do that we can go to WebLogic. So let's go back to my stack. And then into here. And let's scroll all the way down to the bottom of the logs. In case you didn't copy and paste this, we can just go into here, and we want the WebLogic console endpoint. So what we'll do is we'll take that, copy, open up a new tab, and then let's put in WebLogic welcome one. Great. Let's get rid of these pop-ups. Now let's go into the environment, into the servers, and then under control you'll see you've got this UCM server. So that used to be the old Universal Content Management Server, which is WebCenter content. So let's select that environment, and because we set up only a single node, we only have one environment there, and what we'll do is force shutdown, and we can hit this. Yep, we want to force shut down. Hit this refresh icon, and what this is going to do is it'll just update and tell us once the environment has been restarted. I think it refreshes every 10 seconds or so. Right, now that the server is shut down, what we can do is stop that refresh, select it, and let's start it back up. Okay, we'll hit the refresh icon. Now, even though it will start, once it starts up, sometimes it goes into running mode, but it's not really ready. And so when you go across to the content server, you'll get this gateway 502 error. Give it a couple of minutes and it should be fine. And then it should be ready to log in. If you're still having issues, just stop and start. So just go back through the process, go to control, select it, force shut down, wait, and then restart. What you can also do is you can also check the logs. Where is it? So yeah, so if we go in here, log output, and then within here you can just click through and see the actual logs and see if there are any errors during the startup process of the environment. Usually this takes about a minute or so to start up. Okay, great. So it says it's running. Let's hit stop there. Let's go back. Let's move this back into that tab. And then what we want to do is go across here and select CS. and you can see it's saying 502 gateway. There's still some services are still being set up behind the scenes, so we'll give it a little bit more time. There is one thing I just wanted to check. I didn't run through this re-index, so we may have to go to the repository manager and just rerun the indexer. So let's see. So let's go back to the content server, hit refresh, and you can see now we've got access to the environment. Let's log in now. Go back in here, WebLogic, and welcome one. Hit sign in. Okay. Okay. And then let us just go through that whole process of going to the repository manager and just re-indexing. So go back into Finder, and it's this one. Repo manager. Right click, open with Java Launcher. Okay, let's open that. Continue. Okay, and let's run. Let's go across to the indexer. I think it's this one. Let's just triple check which one they went for. Index. So indexer, yep. So they just do a simple collection rebuild. They didn't do it fast, and then okay, that all looks good. So let's go in here, start, untick fast, hit OK, and then we should be good. Finished. Great. So that's that done. So let's go back into the content server and let's just check some of the configuration. So if we go back into the admin server general configuration, and then oh no, not that one. We want to go into the configuration here. Here's what I wanted to check. So I can confirm that we've now switched across to Oracle Text Search, and that is previously it was set as database, so now we're using the correct one. Okay, so let's continue and let's jump in and just go for the Apex Lab, Lab 4. So that all looks okay. So what we're going to do is connect across to Apex, and we are going to create a new workspace. So let's go ahead and do that. We are in here, and let's go down. Yep. So let's do that. So create a new workspace. Give it a name. Okay. Let's give that a name. Oh, okay. Must be because I've already created it. Let's go ahead and let's change this to number 2, and let's use that. Okay, let's go down. So copy this. Oops. We'll just copy and paste the password. Quota will increase to 500 megabytes. And then let's hit next. We'll put 2 there. Okay. Right, let's set up an admin username. Let's go for the password. Okay, looks good. And then let's go ahead and create this new workspace. There we go, great. Let's hit done. And that's our new workspace created. So, good. Okay, so let's log out and log it into our new workspace. So let's sign out there. Great. And what I'm going to do, I must have this workspace already set up. So I'm going to go to 2, but you guys go to 1. Admin, and let's put in our welcome 1 password. Sign in. Password's changed. Let me just paste in welcome 1 again and hit change password. Let's just check they do the same. Yep, welcome 1. And let's hit change password. Great. So I'm in my new workspace in Apex. Let's go down. Looks good. Right, time to install the RFP application. Let's see what needs to happen here. Okay, so if we go back to the zip file that Oracle provided, let's find a. You will see in here we've got a bunch of SQL files. We've got this one and this one. And what we need to do is open them up, edit them, and put in the private IP address. So you can see it's 10, 15, whatever. That's what they've got. So to do that, let's just go across into here, and what we should see, I think, I just scroll across this one. Our private IP address is 10.01.229. So that's my WebCenter content instance, and then you can see that's the private IP, and that's what you're going to essentially do. So open up Finder, open up the SQL files. Let's say open with. I've got Visual Code on this one. Allow, and then all we're going to do is find and replace. Let's just do that. And let's just see what they say. They say just to replace anything that's localhost with the private IP. So pretty simple. Let's go across. So back into Visual, and we'll type in localhost. We want to replace that with a private IP, which I didn't copy. Let's go back, copy, go back into here. Okay, let's replace all of that. There we go, that one's looking good. And let's do the same. Oh, my computer's just crashed. Okay, let's open up Finder. Let's put this one in here. Okay, let's do the same. So we will just hit replace, and then we should be good. Okay. Great. So let's go into Apex and let's import that now. And where is it? Okay. That's good. Okay, that seems great. This all looks good. That looks great. Let me see if I've missed anything. Nope. So let's go ahead and install the application. Okay, so now let's go ahead and apply the credentials. So we'll just copy that and we'll just paste it there. And hit next. Okay, that looks good. Install supporting objects. Yeah. And then let's just check it out. Okay. Great. Okay, let's import the REST data source. Again, it did say to replace this, but oh, it did save it. Okay, let's save that. That's our REST catalog. That's all looking good. Now let's go ahead. Okay. Import. Let's go into there. Let's select the REST catalog now. Just this one. And we'll select the REST source, hit next. Yep. Hit next again. Catalog group. Okay, let's copy this, paste that in, import REST catalog. Great. Okay, so let's select the service. There's our quick search library, which is there. And let's go ahead, select the quick search library, and let's change some things. So let's update the base path. Okay, and just paste that into there. That looks good. Apply those changes. Okay, that's great. Next step. Okay, there's our RFP application. So let's now go to shared components, data sources, REST data sources. Shared components, REST data sources, and REST data sources. Great. Okay, we've got our quick search library, which is there. So let's go into that. Let's go to our REST source catalog. And we'll just do a quick refresh. Refresh. Okay. Now let's go ahead and add some users. I think there's 3 or 4 users to add. Let's go over here and manage users and groups. Right, so I've got one user currently set up. What we need to do is go ahead and create 1, 2, 3, 3 users. So sales, finance, oh, four users maybe. Let's just check. Yeah. So let's go ahead and create this user. Create user, and why not? Let's just copy and paste this information quickly. Whoops. Don't think we need to put the name, but let's just go ahead for now and just copy and paste. Password is there. Welcome 1. Okay. Just make sure I've done that correctly. Looks good. Right. Create user. So we've created that sales rep. Let's create our next user. Technical architect. Okay, and then again, password welcome 1. And we'll create that user. Next user, finance. Password again is welcome 1. And then final user, legal. Okay, and then welcome 1 again for the password. Oops. Create user. Okay, we've got all of those users in there. Now to configure our new application. So if we go across to this web address, to our application, and just copy that. And then let's just type in my username. So let's go in as the admin. Okay, so let's go into our sections area and let's hit create, and what we'll do is go through this process and just quickly copy and paste all of these. So let's create our first section, which is going to be our title and summary. And just go ahead and just update these forms, the order in which we want this to be. Ooh. That says 10. Let's select that document from here, and it's the title and summary. Hit open on that. Section owner is sales. Let's go. Sales rep. Let's give them some instructions. Okay, that's the first section. Let's go ahead and create the next section, which is the technical design. instructions, and then the expectations. Okay, and let's not forget to apply the template, and that is this technique. Great. So that's the second section. Next section, price and bomb. So let's add that. The owner is going to be finance. Give them some instructions. And our expectations. Let's not forget the document. Okay. Let's create that, and then I think this is the final one. Let's go ahead and create the legal section. Okay. Set the owner as legal. Instructions again. And expectations. Great. That is looking good. Let's not forget to put the legal document, which is that. Okay. Those are our sections created. Let's go to RFP details, and that's great. So let's start through this process, and again, what we'll do here is log in as a sales rep. We'll upload the RFP document. They'll select the sections that they want. These are held within content server. Technical architect will come in, upload the documents required, and then it'll finally end up with the sales rep who will review the documents, merge them using the WebCenter content folios component, and then once that merge has been completed, it'll create the RFP response that the sales rep can then send out to the customer.